Welcome to Martha's Stories. Support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I promise even more interesting stories. They told me to wait in the lounge. We'll come back for you after check-in, Grandma. So I waited. That's what you do when your grown son looks you in the eye and says something with that tone. That careful, practiced tone. Half patience, half embarrassment. The one that says, "Let's not make a scene." I didn't want a scene. I just wanted to be included. So I sat down near gate 12, in one of those molded plastic chairs that pretend to be comfortable. I had my rolling bag, a small tote with snacks, and a container of turkey sandwiches I made that morning. No crusts. His favorite when he was 6. The lounge was busy. Crying babies, people glued to their phones, airport announcements blaring overhead like someone yelling underwater. I tried to stay out of the way. I smiled at a toddler who dropped his juice box near my foot. His mother apologized. I told her not to worry. I used to be her. Young, flustered, late for everything. 15 minutes passed. Then 30. I thought, maybe they're stuck at security. Maybe the kiosk line is longer than expected. Maybe Clara's luggage needed to be checked manually. That girl packs like she's leaving the country for a year. An hour passed. Called Mark. It rang twice, then voicemail. I waited another 20 minutes. Then went up to the airline counter. The young man behind the desk looked half asleep. I asked if Mark and Clara Taylor had checked in. He squinted at the screen. Yeah, they boarded 20 minutes ago. I stared at him. Are you sure? He turned the screen slightly so I could see. 2 names. Mark, Clara. Boarded. They were supposed to come back for me, I said softly. He gave me that look, polite, apologetic, but distant. Like someone who's seen this before and doesn't want to get involved. I walked away back to the same cold chair. The sandwiches were still in my lap. One side of the container was fogged from my hand. My phone buzzed. Hey Mom. Thanks again for coming. Sorry for the mix-up. It's just her family today. Hope you understand. That was it. No call. No, we're sorry. It's just her family today. Not our family. Not your still family. Just her. I didn't cry. I didn't throw the sandwich or call him names. I just sat there like the building around me was sinking and I hadn't decided whether to get up yet. The older woman next to me was crocheting. She glanced at me, maybe sensing something. But she didn't speak. That was the worst part. Not the message. Not being left behind. The worst part was how quiet everything was. Like the world had already agreed with them. Like I was already gone. I sat in that chair another hour. Maybe more. I stopped checking the time. What's the point? People around me came and went. Gate 12 changed flights. A new group lined up. Different faces, different destinations. Nobody noticed me. Nobody ever does unless I'm in the way. I finally stood. My knees cracked like dried twigs. The sandwich container was warm in my hand, the fog on the lid gone. I dropped it in the trash. It made a hollow sound. That bothered me more than it should have. I walked to the information desk. Asked if there were flights to Portland. I don't know why I said Portland. Maybe I liked the name. Maybe I just wanted to be somewhere with trees. The woman behind the counter gave me a confused look. Do you have a ticket already? No. Well, I can check what's available. I bought a one-way with the emergency credit card I hadn't touched in years. Mark gave it to me years ago just in case. I guess this counted. The flight was in 2 hours. I found a bench near the smaller gates and waited. This time I wasn't expecting anyone. The plane was half full. No one talked to me. I liked it that way. I stared out the window as we lifted off. Not at the clouds or the lights below, just the reflection of my own face. I looked exactly how I felt, erased. We landed past midnight. The airport was quiet. Just a janitor mopping near baggage claim. I had one carry-on and no plan. I Googled motels near the terminal. Picked the cheapest one with clean in the reviews. The shuttle driver didn't speak. He didn't need to. I didn't want conversation. I wanted a door that locked and silence behind it. At the motel check-in, the man behind the glass barely looked up. Single room. Yes. 2 nights. Just one. He handed me a key. Plastic. Room 106. The room smelled like someone else's cigarettes and lemon cleaner. But the bed was made, the bathroom was clean, and the lamp worked. That was enough. I sat on the edge of the bed, took off my shoes and stared at the wall. That was the moment it hit me. Not the flight. Not the message. Not the chair in the airport. It was this room. This silence. This stupid, ugly lamp. That's when I knew. No one was coming. No one even thought about coming. They had planned it. They knew I was flying out. They let me buy a dress. They let me think I was part of it. And then they walked away like I was luggage they didn't want to claim. I didn't cry. I just sat still until the light from the lamp blurred and the hum in the walls filled my ears like static. I fell asleep sitting up. My hand still gripped the key card. I woke up stiff. Still in my clothes. The motel room looked exactly the same. Curtains drawn, carpet stained, air dry from the heater. For a second I didn't remember where I was. Then I did. I stood slowly. My neck ached from sleeping upright. The lamp was still on. My hand was still around the key card. I put it on the nightstand like it mattered. I didn't shower. Just washed my face, brushed my teeth with the toothbrush still in the plastic. It had been in my purse for weeks. I'd packed light, thinking I wouldn't need much. They'd said, "We've got everything, Mom. Don't overthink it." I hadn't. I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't look angry or sad. I just looked quiet, like a person whose name had been crossed out. I walked to the front desk to check out. The guy barely looked up. "Need a taxi?" "No." Outside it was cold. Gray sky, light wind, no sun. I liked it better than heat. I started walking. No destination. No map. I passed a diner with foggy windows and flickering neon. Inside, a few people stared into coffee cups like they were trying to see the future. I walked past it. A few blocks later, I saw a help center. Handwritten sign in the window. Job assistant/resource desk. I had no resume. No address. I walked in anyway. There was a woman at the desk, maybe in her 60s. She looked like someone's aunt. Soft face, wide shoulders, no-nonsense sweater. She looked up. "Hi there. You need help?" I opened my mouth to say no. What came out was, "I need a place to stay." She didn't blink. Just nodded and reached for a clipboard. "We've got a few temporary housing partners. Nothing fancy but safe. Are you in danger?" "No." "Anyone looking for you?" "No." She paused. "Anyone you want to find you?" I shook my head. She looked at me for a moment, then handed me a paper. "This place takes walk-ins before 4 p.m. It's 6 blocks down. You'll need to fill out an intake form. If you need food, they've got a pantry. Nothing hot, but it's something." I took the paper. "Thank you," I said. She just nodded. Outside, I stood on the sidewalk for a minute. 6 blocks. Not far. But it felt big. Like the ground between before and after. I walked. Slowly. People passed me. No one looked twice. The building was old brick, 2 floors, no sign. Just a buzzer. A young man opened the door. "You here for the intake?" "Yes." He handed me a clipboard just like the woman had. Name, date of birth, emergency contact. I left that part blank. "Do you have ID?" "Yes." He made a copy. They gave me a room. Small. Clean. Single bed, metal frame. Shared bathroom. No one said much. That was fine. I sat on the edge of the bed, took off my shoes and placed my bag on the floor. No one knew where I was. And I didn't tell them. The mattress was thin but clean. I slept better than I had in months. No footsteps upstairs. No laundry machine. No one waking me up to ask if I'd seen their wallet or where the extra toothpaste was. I woke up to light coming through the blinds. It was quiet. Not the tense kind. The good kind. I dressed slowly. Washed my face in the shared bathroom down the hall. A woman in a green sweatshirt brushed her hair next to me. We nodded. That was it. I walked outside around 9. Still cool out. Damp sidewalks, quiet streets. I passed a bus stop, a pharmacy, a bakery with a sign in the window. Coffee $1 before 10 a.m. I went in. The place was small. One woman behind the counter. A man in the corner reading a paper. She greeted me like I'd been there before. "Regular or decaf?" "Regular." I sat near the window. The coffee was hot and bitter. No music playing. Just the hum of a fridge and the clink of her spoon against ceramic. I watched people pass. Some on bikes. Some walking dogs. Some in suits talking into phones. No one knew me. No one expected anything. Felt strange. Not good. Not bad. Just open. When I got back to the shelter, the woman from yesterday waved me over. You free for a few hours? I nodded. Kitchen duty. Sorting canned goods. They gave me gloves and a cart. I lined up beans, soup, corn, everything by type. My hands moved on their own. It felt good to do something useful without being asked 100 questions. A man came in looking for peanut butter. Said he had 2 kids. We didn't have any. I gave him extra pasta instead. He said thank you 3 times. Afterward, the woman, her name was Joy, asked if I wanted lunch. Sure. Soup. Crackers. Apple slices. I ate it all. She sat across from me. You from here? No. Passing through. Not really. She didn't push. People usually stay here a week or 2, she said. Then we help them figure out next steps. I nodded. You have kids? I hesitated. Then said, I used to. She didn't ask more. Later I walked again. No map. Just blocks and turns. I found a park. Empty bench. I sat. Watched squirrels. Kids played in the distance. A dog barked. Leaves shifted in the wind. I stayed until the sun dropped low. Back in my room I took off my shoes, folded my jacket and lay down. No calls. No messages. Not even a spam text. And for the first time that didn't feel like punishment. Felt like permission. The next morning Joy handed me a flyer. Local paper, she said. Check the 3rd page. I took it. Inside near the bottom was a small ad. Retirement home part-time help wanted. Laundry. Dishes, a light cleaning. No license required. Apply in person. Joy tapped it. I know the manager. Tell her I sent you. I didn't answer right away. I'm not sure how long I'm staying. Joy shrugged. That's up to you. I folded the flyer and put it in my jacket. Around noon I walked over. It was 6 blocks west. A square brick building with hedges trimmed too tight. A faded sign. Fairview Living Center. Inside it smelled like bleach and soft food. At the front desk, a woman in pink scrubs looked up. You here for the posting? Yes. Joy sent me. She nodded. Follow me. She led me past a hallway lined with wheelchairs and faded art. One man nodded at me. Another was asleep with his mouth open. We stopped at a small office. A younger woman looked up. Sharp eyes. Blonde hair pulled back. Her badge said Director Ellen McKay. You worked before? She asked. Nothing recent. Criminal record? No. Can you mop a floor? Yes. She paused. You're overqualified. I'm just looking for something steady. She studied me, then said, 3 days a week. Noon to 4. Starts tomorrow if you want it. That was it. No forms. No second interview. Just yes or no. I said yes. That night I sat on the edge of my cot. I looked at the flyer again, then folded it and put it in the trash. The next day I showed up at noon. Ellen gave me gloves, showed me where the carts were. First day was dish duty. Plastic trays, leftover mashed potatoes, half-drunk milk cartons. A man named Arthur, maybe late 80s, waved at me as I passed. New girl. I nodded. Lucky us. I smiled. After the shift, Ellen handed me a folded envelope. Inside, $40 cash. I stared at it longer than I meant to. It's not much, she said. It's more than I had. I didn't go back to the shelter that night. I used the money to book 2 nights in a room above the diner. Joy said they had weekly rates. The woman behind the counter handed me a real key. Not a card. Room 3B. Tiny window. No fridge. But the bed didn't squeak. I turned my phone on for the first time in 3 days. No new calls. No messages. Nothing from Mark. Not even a question mark. I turned it back off. I sat by the window until it got dark. Down below people ordered pie, poured coffee, laughed at things I couldn't hear. And for the first time I didn't feel like I was missing anything. Wednesdays were laundry days at Fairview. That meant carts full of sheets, piles of towels, and the steady hiss of steam from the press in the back. I didn't mind it. It was quiet work. No one talked much. No one needed me to explain anything. Just wash, dry, fold, repeat. That afternoon, I was sorting pillowcases when I heard a voice down the hallway. Deep, fast, familiar. First I didn't look. But then he laughed. And it hit me. For a second, half a second, I thought it was Mark. Same rhythm. Same tone. I froze. But it wasn't him. It was a visitor. A young man with dark hair and khakis, talking to a nurse about his father. Yeah, he always hated the Jell-O, he said, chuckling. I stepped back into the laundry room. Closed the door. My hands shook. I sat down on the edge of a supply bin and let myself breathe. Not cry. Just breathe. It had been almost a week. 7 days without a single word from my son. Not even an accident, not even guilt. He knew. And he had made his choice. I opened my phone. Battery at 58%. I clicked into messages. His name was still pinned to the top. No texts. No, where are you? No, are you okay? I stared at the screen. Then I did something I hadn't done since I landed. I deleted the thread. Just like that. His name disappeared. And with it, the imaginary rope I kept tying around my own neck. That night, I stopped by the corner store and bought myself a sandwich and a little bottle of ginger ale. I ate in the room with the window open. The city was cooler now, breeze coming in soft. I didn't call anyone. I didn't explain myself. No one knew where I was. No one was looking. And for the first time, that didn't feel like abandonment. Felt like space. Like breathing room. I looked around the tiny room. The thrift store lamp. The old dresser. The single chair by the bed. It wasn't home. But it was mine. I took out a notebook I'd bought at the shelter's donation box. Nothing fancy. Just a spiral-bound pad with blue lines. I wrote one sentence. They didn't leave me behind. They let me go. And then I underlined it. Twice. The next day at Fairview, the microwave broke. The staff room filled with the smell of burnt plastic and cold pasta. People groaned. Someone suggested sandwiches. Ellen walked in, took one look at the blinking numbers and said, "Unplug it. Toss it. I'll fill the forms later." I offered to run across the street. There was a small deli 2 blocks down. She handed me a 20. Get 5 turkey. No mayo. And a black coffee for me. It felt oddly normal. Like something I used to do years ago. When people needed things. At the deli, a girl at the counter asked if I wanted anything extra. I stared at the pastries behind the glass. Little pies. Cinnamon rolls. A single cupcake with pink icing and too many sprinkles. I pointed at the cupcake. She smiled. Big day. Not really. I added a coffee for myself. Paid with my own money. Back in the staff room, I passed out the sandwiches, handed Ellen her coffee, then sat in the corner with the cupcake on a paper napkin. I didn't touch it right away. Just looked. It was ridiculous. Bright pink. Like something for a child's birthday. Then I picked it up, took a bite and laughed. Not loud. Just a quick breath pushed out by surprise. It was too sweet. Too soft. And completely unnecessary. But it was mine. No one told me to buy it. No one was watching. No one would say, "You don't need that." Or is that for the grandkids? I ate the whole thing. That evening, walking back to the room above the diner, I saw a woman struggling with her stroller at the curb. One wheel was stuck. She looked tired. Her baby was asleep, head tilted, mouth open. I stepped forward, nudged the front wheel up and helped her across. She smiled. "Thank you." I nodded and walked on. That was it. No, do you have grandkids? No, where's your family? Just help. Then quiet. I stopped at the donation box outside the community center. Dropped off an extra sweater I hadn't worn since I arrived. Still clean. Still folded. Inside, a small bulletin board had new papers tacked up. One said, "Writers Group Tuesdays open to all ages. Beginners welcome." I took the tab with the number. Back in my room, I opened the window. It smelled like rain. I turned on the lamp. The bulb flickered, then held. I opened the notebook. Same one. Flipped past the first page. The one with the line I'd written before. They didn't leave me behind. They let me go. I turned to the next blank page. This time I didn't think. I just started writing. Tuesday morning, I brought extra towels to room 204. Arthur had spilled his juice again, and the nurse didn't want to wait. He smiled when I knocked. "That you, new girl?" "Still me." He chuckled. "Then come in. I won't bite." I set the towels on the dresser. He looked tired. His sweater was inside out. He didn't notice. "You ever have kids?" he asked. I paused. "One." "He call you?" "Not lately." Arthur leaned back in his chair. "My daughter used to call every Sunday. Then it turned into every other. Then birthdays. Now it's just holidays if I'm lucky." I nodded. "I get it." Back in the laundry room, Ellen waved me over. "There was a call for you." My stomach tightened. "For me?" "Yeah. Woman. Said her name's Clara. Asked if you were working here." I kept my face still. "What did you say?" "I said we don't share info about staff, but I'd let you know." I nodded once. She sounded polite. A little nervous. "Gave a number in case you wanted to call back." She handed me a sticky note. The numbers were neat. Familiar. I folded it and put it in my pocket without a word. At lunch I didn't eat. Just sat outside by the side door, near the dumpsters. Quietest place in the building. I unfolded the paper. Looked at the number. Didn't dial. Later after my shift I went to the diner. Got a black coffee. Sat near the window. I took out the note again. Read it like it was someone else's name. And then I dropped it in the sugar bowl. Didn't tear it. Didn't burn it. Just let it sit under the packets of fake sweetener and walked away. That evening my phone buzzed. First time in days. It was an unknown number. No name. No voicemail. Then a message. "Mom, please let us know you're okay. Clara said you were seen near a shelter. I just want to talk. That's all." I stared at the screen. Not, "I'm sorry." Not, "We made a mistake." Just, "Let us know you're okay." Like I was the one who disappeared on them. Like I owed them closure. I put the phone face down on the table. An hour later I deleted the message. Not in anger. Just done. People like to talk about closure. Like it's a door that shuts gently with a sigh. But sometimes it doesn't close at all. Sometimes you just walk away and never look back. That night I pulled out the notebook again. The cheap spiral one. I wrote, "He didn't call me. He asked someone else to." Then underlined it. Twice. And underneath, "If you need to go, go. But don't expect applause for turning around." The next morning I packed my things. Not that there were many. One bag. 3 changes of clothes. The notebook. The cupcake wrapper I kept for no reason. I left the room key on the nightstand. Wrote "thank you" on a napkin from the diner. That felt like enough. At Fairview I gave notice. Told Ellen it would be my last week. She looked at me. Didn't ask why. Just said, "You were good here." I nodded. "Thank you." She added, "You sure you want to leave?" "Yes." "Got a plan?" "No." "That's fine," she said. Sometimes no plan is the plan. I worked my shift. Folded sheets. Cleaned trays. Said goodbye to Arthur. He gave me a Werther's from his pocket and said, "Don't be a stranger." I wouldn't be. But I wouldn't be here either. That night I walked the long way back to the shelter. Past the bakery, past the grocery with the crooked sign. Past the alley that always smelled like onions and metal. Outside the shelter I paused. Then kept walking. I didn't want another bed for a night. I wanted my own space. Even if it was just borrowed. At the edge of downtown, I found a room for rent sign in a dusty window above a barber shop. I walked up. Knocked. A woman in a housecoat answered. Hair and curlers. Not surprised to see me. "You looking for 3C? "Yes." "It's small." "I'm small." She cracked a smile. $2.50 a week. Cash. No loud music. "You smoke?" "No." "Good." I paid her the first week from the envelope Ellen gave me. She handed me a key. The room was just that, a room. One window. A bed. A chip desk. A lamp with a shade that didn't match the base. But it locked. And it was mine. I put my bag down. Sat on the bed. Opened the window. No music. No voices. Just the hum of a streetlight and someone arguing 3 buildings away. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel healed. I just felt quiet. I turned on my phone. One new message. Same number. Mom, we're back. Please let me know you're safe. Clara's worried. I read it twice. Then I deleted it. No reply. No explanation. That was the reply. Sometimes silence is louder than shouting. I opened my notebook. Wrote. He wanted peace without truth. But you can't build trust on top of a lie. Then I closed the book. I didn't need to write more. Tomorrow I'd walk down the street. Maybe ask about the diner's morning shift. Maybe pick up a used book. Maybe not do anything at all. For the first time in a long time, my life didn't belong to anyone else. Not to a son who forgot. Not to a family who replaced me. Not even to the version of me that waited at gate 12, clutching sandwiches and hope. She was gone now, and I wasn't going back to get her. I woke up early. First light. No alarm. The room was still. The window cracked just enough to let in street sounds. A distant truck, birds fighting over crumbs, someone coughing on the sidewalk. I sat up, stretched my hands, felt the quiet settle around me like a coat. No one had called. I wasn't surprised. I made tea with a kettle I bought at a thrift store. Electric. Loud but reliable. I sipped it slowly, sitting on the floor with my back against the bed. Then I opened my notebook. Flipped past the quotes, the one-liners, the things I had written to hold myself steady. On a fresh page I wrote, when someone tells you who you are, and it doesn't match the truth, you have two choices. You shrink to fit, or you walk out of frame. I underlined that last part. Then I stood. Got dressed. Clean pants. Clean shirt. No cardigan. No makeup. I didn't need armor anymore. I walked downstairs. Outside, the barber was sweeping his doorway. He nodded at me. Morning. Morning. That was it. I passed the diner. Thought about stopping in, but kept walking. I didn't need sugar. I needed motion. I walked 2 blocks. Turned left. Then right. Let the city decide. By noon I had applied at 3 places. 1 bookstore, 1 plant shop, 1 library looking for a desk clerk. Nobody asked where I'd come from. Nobody cared. Good. At 2 p.m. I sat on a bench near the river. Same river that ran through the city I didn't know the name of last week. Now it was mine. Across from me, a young couple argued quietly. She pointed. He shook his head. Their kid kicked at a pigeon. I looked away. Not my story. Not anymore. I pulled out my phone. Turned it on. No missed calls. No voicemails. No I'm sorry. Just 1 new message. We miss you. Please call. Even just to say you're okay. It wasn't signed. No name. No ownership. Just guilt disguised as concern. I stared at it for a full minute. Then I typed back. I'm fine. Don't contact me again. I hit send. Then blocked the number. The phone felt lighter in my hand. I stood. Dropped it in the trash can next to the bench. It clunked against old wrappers and a crumpled soda can. I didn't look back. I walked. Past the corner where I first saw the room for rent sign. Past the window with the cupcakes. Past everything that had once felt temporary. It didn't feel temporary anymore. Felt like mine. I stopped at a shop that sold used coats. Tried one on. Warm. Soft inside. Just big enough for winter. The tag said $12. I had $18 in my pocket. I bought it. The woman at the counter said, that one suits you. I smiled. I know. Then I walked back out into the street. Cold wind. Empty sky. No one waiting for me. No one calling my name. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel invisible. I felt gone. On purpose. What would you have done in my place? If the story hit you, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe. It only gets stronger from here.